everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and today I'm working on day 5 of ByTheWell4God's Follow Me devotional. Now my idea here is to put a window and have a scene through the window as I cut out the paper through the window. So I'm just kind of getting an estimate of where that window is going to be and then cutting it out. That is why I don't really care if it is perfectly stamped or not, but I am backing it with paper because my idea is to have some acetate between the window and the back side, if that makes sense. And I want to make sure that the back side looks as clean as possible and not just has a piece of acetate kind of slapped on the back side. So that's why I'm doing 2 sheets of paper, and I am using my craft X-Acto knife to kind of cut these little window frames out, and then we'll move on to creating my scene. Okay, so my original idea was to use these clear stickers, stick it on a piece of acetate, and then you would be able to kind of see light through the acetate piece, and it'd be really cool. And in theory, that sounds awesome, right? And it looks kind of cool here, but you don't really get to see that scene very well, and it's not what I was looking for, basically. And so instead, I kind of decide to change it up, and I'm going to put a white piece of paper behind it, and that really makes the scene pop. It still looks like a window because I used that plastic acetate, and that makes it look like, you know, a glass pane. So that's cool. But what I do here is by accident, since now I've changed my mind on how I'm using this acetate, I realized that I want the acetate flipped on the back side with the clear sticker paper in between the acetate and the white piece of paper, and that will give me the look most like a piece of glass in that window. So now I need to create my window, and I decided to use some craft heavy stock paper from Tim Holtz, and I'm going to stamp this down and then also use some clear embossing powder on top to just give it something extra, and I will heat set that before I start cutting it all out. Now I'll cut it out with my fussy cutting scissors, but then I will come in obviously and use that craft X-Acto knife again to cut out all those little panes of window so you can see the scene through the window. I've had a couple people ask me what my favorite fussy cutting scissors are, and these are paper snips from Stampin' Up. I believe last time I checked, they're $10. They work excellent, and I've had mine for a number of years. So now I am cutting out the window panes, and I will assemble this card set together. Obviously, I'm going to have that scene in the middle of these 2 pieces of paper, or 2 tags. Originally, I was going to have the sun shining through, and that's why I had that second tag hole cut out as well. But now I don't have that, obviously, and I kind of forgot that while I was adding my glue. So I added a little too much glue in the center. And now I have to figure out how to cover up that little hole piece, and I will eventually. I'm just going to add one of those little flashcards to the back that corresponds with day 5's devotional, so that covers that up, and now we can start working on adding something extra to this tag to kind of fill it in a little bit. I've decided on this cherry blossom branch, and I'm going to fussy cut it out again. I won't make you watch that because it takes quite a bit of time, and there was a little bit of white in the areas in between the flowers, so since I had that knife out, I decided to cut those out as well. I had some frayed burlap on this makeup brush from a previous project, and so I just decided to add that to the edges of this cherry blossom. I didn't go too heavy-handed. It doesn't look antique. It just kind of, I don't know, it kind of completes it, I guess you could say. So now I'm going to add this over the window, kind of over and under, if that makes sense. You see some flowers are over the window and some are beneath it. It just kind of gives you some depth. And I am coming in with my Barely Arts precision glue and making sure that is good and glued down. And now I have to figure out how to fill in this bottom section. Originally, I was going to use this flashcard in the bottom section to fill it in, but it was a little bulky and a little too blue for what I had going on in this card. And so I decided to trim it down a little bit just to use the verse reference, or so I thought I was going to use it. And I'm looking at different layering options. I had this really fun packaging that had a lot of texture, and so I decided to use that on the bottom. It matched with my window. And then I used this fabric piece that was part of the tag bob kit that I didn't use to create my floofy, and so I'm going to staple that down with my tiny attacher. Now, if I were going to redo this whole tag, I would definitely staple this before I added that back piece of paper so that the staples weren't seen on the back side, but no big deal, it's okay. So I'm just going to staple this down. And instead of using that little verse I have right there, I decided to use my Dymo label maker to just write out Luke 2. Now, I can't forget to add my date to this tag. We want to make sure that we remember that it's from day 5's devotional. So I'm going to take out my clear alpha stickers. I'm going to use the darker pink ones, and I'm going to spell out just the number 5 because that's all the space I have in this upper right-hand corner. And then this tag will be done. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me over on Instagram at Wonderfully Made Handcrafting. I'll try to link everything I use down below in the description, and I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.